Hi, it's Liz. Today we're going to be finishing up a project that I started and just a little bit of procrastination happening. But so I walk to work and I walk at nighttime. It's so dark and it gets so dark so early. So it's so important to be visible. So I sewed in some reflective tape to one of the sleeves. I want to do it on the other side. This sleeve, and I'll show you, I hand stitched it when it was really cold out, really nothing to do except to just sit there and do some hand stitching. So it doesn't go all the way through to this side, but it just goes on top. But I find even that sometimes even in broad daylight cars don't see you. So I also did my backpack, and this one is lined inside, so I just hand stitched the stitches at the top here and at the bottom, so that goes on my back. And I've actually had a couple cars pull over and thank me because they couldn't see any other walkers on the street, and when they were able to come up to me, they were able to see it, because it is super scary as a driver and as a pedestrian. In some areas where I live, there's pockets where there isn't overhead street lights, so it makes it really a necessity because you're pitch black. So I did buy some more of this reflective tape to use on my other sleeve. I'm going to try it in my sewing machine because it did take me a while just to hand stitch it. So I did buy some more of the black reflective tape as well, just because I found it not so flashy for my purse, for my bag. So I was thinking I might do this at the bottom of my coat. And then I'm going to, with this reflective tape as well, going to make just some wristbands that I can slip on, slip off real easy. So oftentimes I forget to put on the wristbands if I'm wearing a different jacket, so that's why I started sewing it in the jacket that I always wear. So in this video, I'm going to be sewing up the reflective tape on my coat, and then I'll be sewing up reflective wristbands that I can make just with the reflective tape, and some probably canvas is what I'm going to use, or maybe something stretchy. We'll see what I have. So I'm just trying to make myself visible in the long run and not have to think about it day to day. Alright, so it's pretty easy for this one. It probably hurts your eyes a little bit, but I just sewed it right underneath the edge line, so I'm just going to be doing the same. Just line it up on my seam, and I'll probably fold over. This is probably the only part where you get it cut, is going to be where it's frayed. I just got it at my local, it's called Stedman's where I live. It's like a local shop that a lot of them have gone under, like Fields or Sands and stuff, and they just have such a random assortment of things. But I'm sure you can buy this online. And I'm just going to pin it, and then I'm going to pin it all around, and then I'm going to sew it down. Probably just do the edge as close as I can. Alright, so I have pinned up the top side because I'm going to start with that one first. Alright, well, with some maneuvering, it just fit. So that worked out well. What I should have done though is overlapped this so that it wouldn't, we don't have that seam down in the middle. So now I'm going to try to do the bottom. So now I'm going to sew the bottom. Alright, so the first cuff is on. It actually looks really good. What I'm going to do is just sew this one up by hand, and I'm just going to pull one from each side, and then it'll close. But really, I should have overlapped it so that this side was overlapping on that side and that side's overlapping, but no problem. And this side did pull a little bit, so the side that I was ending with pulled their fabric a little bit more, so I should have given it a little bit more room to fold over. So I was thinking for the black reflective tape, so the coat goes down just above my knees, I would say. So at the bottom edge here, I was thinking I'm going to sew that black reflective tape before the zipper all the way across to the other side. I'm going to fold this one down, gave it a lot more room. Going to attach it. I'm just going to probably follow, don't know if you can see, but there is a couple stitches here. So I'm just going to follow the top stitch line and sew all the way down. Actually, I might come out a bit just because the zipper bulk of it, so this is where the coat is folded, so this is going to be double the thickness. Now I don't really want the thickness, I just want the line, so then it'll be a straight line. So I'm just going to change up my thread. It was white at the top and then black underneath. Sometimes I'll do that if I'm like making an unlined bag or something that has a dark or a different color underside. I'll use one color for the top of it and then one color for the bottom. It doesn't hide it completely, but it definitely cuts down that visibility. So far so good. The one side is down. The other side isn't. Over my seams, my thread did jump a little, but it still held fast. I thought it snapped the first time, but just depending on the thickness of your jacket. Alright, so it looks really good. It's all stitched down. It's a little bit wavy, but I'm sure it'll do the job. And this isn't like my forever jacket, but it's definitely a great walking jacket. So because I'm using canvas, I'm going to measure the widest part of my hand with my thumb because it's going to be non-stretchy material. So that is the size that I chose. Now I'm going to put it over my fabric. Alright, so I'm just taking my pencil, drawing it once, and then here and here. Now I'm going to move it down. I want double the width because I'm going to fold it over and then sew this on top. So you have to also make sure that the lines you are drawing is the actual, measurement of this, but you're going to have to add some seam allowances. If you're going to go on the serger, make sure you add your serger allowances as well. So probably just 1/2 inch. I'm just going to clean up the sides. Alright, so we have our fabric. This is 2 inches if you're wondering, by the way. If you have a print or something, it's going to just go on the inside. And we're just going to make a tube. Sew it down, flip it inside out. Alright, it is now a tube. Let's flip it inside out. If you're using a skinnier reflective tape and you're having problems with the skinnier tube, you could definitely use like a safety pin, put it one end, and then it's a bit something to grab onto, or you can use like a loop turner. So we can give that a little press, because what we're going to do next is put our reflective tape over top of it, and then we can sew it down. Alright, so I gave it a good press. Now I'm going to put the reflective tape over top of it. Then I'm going to sew up one edge and 2 edges. So we have the reflective piece of fabric sewn on the outside. So before you start this, you could also figure out how you're going to finish it. For this one, I am just going to flip my ends, open my ends, and then put them inside. I'm going to see how this works because the reflective tape is a bit bulky. If I was using Velcro, I can definitely finish off these edges here and then put the Velcro on it, and then it's not such a big deal on the side. Or I could do snaps here, you could do a button. If you were making these for a gift and you weren't too sure the size of someone's hand, you could also definitely make it longer and then put several snaps on along the way. But it just depends on how much time and effort you want to put in. Alright, so we have both ends sort of tucked in. You're going to tuck one end in to the other. You can do it that way. Sometimes it's a bit too bulky. You could hand stitch it closed. So the other option would be to tuck in one end, give that a press, and then stitch it down. Tuck in the other end, give it a press, stitch it down. You could stitch it over top of each other, or you could pin stitch it just on the sides. You can do it fully across. Alright, so I sewed this side and this side. I left this kind of part open just because it wouldn't fit around my machine. You could also hand stitch it if you want, but essentially it is done. Goes good with scrunchies. I'll put it on this end. But you can see really nice high vis, which is what you're wanting. You can also put Velcro on here. Like I said, you could do a snap, you could do a button. Just this material though is, my machine doesn't love it, my needle doesn't love it. Could probably change my needle, but I have one done. We're gonna move now on to the hat. All right, so this is the hat situation going on. And I'm thinking I just want maybe a piece up here. See how this goes. So I have both ends sewn down. Just gonna put them together to find my middle. My hat actually has a middle seam at the very front, so I'm just gonna match that up. Gonna pin it. All right, we're gonna try it to go around. Alright, so the bottom stitch worked really nicely. So the only thing is I'm worried if I do the top stitch, it might start puckering. So what I could do, instead of, because I don't want to leave it all the way open, is that I could do some tacking along there so it doesn't get caught on anything. I could definitely do a top stitch. Not too bad on the puckering. It does have a bit, but not at all what I thought it was going to be. I did have to hold my hand like this, try to keep it as flat as possible when I was doing the top stitch. Otherwise, I was worried the fabric was going to shift, and then the reflective tape was going to shift as well. So I think that worked out well. So vehicles can see me at the front. I can wear my backpack or my jacket and they can see me on the back. So mission accomplished. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments any other place you put your reflective tape or any other place that might be good to be visible so you're able to be seen. I will talk to you later. Bye.